So my name's Ciarra. For anyone who doesn't know, oh my god, this is Pokey. She doesn't want to leave me alone in order to make this video, so she's gonna hang out with us a little bit. So I'm just here because I've gotten a few requests, actually a lot of people asking me how I got into lifting, how people can get into lifting, and my whole, just kind of my story, like with powerlifting. And I just really want to share my story. It's a lot to type, so I thought a video may be the best way to go. Just start in the beginning. First things first, if you want to get into lifting, get into the gym. Get a bar on your back. Get a bar on your back, start doing some squats. If you can, get into a strength training gym. I'm going to tell you, every person I've ever met in a strength training gym is more than willing to help new people. They're more than willing to help you. Everyone's there to help each other get better. Everyone's there to get better, and everyone's going to help you. Personally, my story started a little different. So when I was in high school, I was always an athlete. I did track in high school. Fun story, I taught Zumba for like 2.5 years. Super fun. Really great way to do cardio, and it always just kept me active through high school and like trying to stay busy. Senior year of high school, I actually stopped teaching Zumba, and I ended up getting kicked out of my house. Me and my mom just didn't get along, and I ended up having to move out and live on my own with my boyfriend at the time. And I had stopped working out completely. I stopped teaching Zumba. I ended up just working a little bit more because I was in high school and trying to support myself, and that just put me at like a really big weight gain. It was right before I graduated and shipped off to basic training. I went into the military. I went to basic training the day after I graduated from high school, and in basic training they make you run a lot, like a lot. So I got really small in basic training. Let's see if I can put a picture here. Really tiny. I then went to job school called AIT. I was there for 6 months, and they also make you run a lot there. It was really small. I remember weighing in at 158 pounds, and just for reference, I currently weigh around 175 pounds, roughly. So it's about 20 pounds difference. You can really see it in pictures. You can really see, I can feel it on myself. I remember actually being in job school and being like, oh, I don't want to do too many pull-ups because I don't want my shoulders to get too big. Who was this person really though? I don't understand. I never did any lifting. It was all just running, and whatever the army PT was, they would make us do pull-ups, and that's where I got the whole big shoulders thing. Tell you, my shoulders aren't even big now. I don't know what I was thinking back then. But I graduated job school, and I came home and I started going to college. In college, I somehow managed to keep off the freshman 15, like all the way through until finals came around, actually. Then finals, even then happened, and you know, I gained a little bit of weight, and I was doing okay through summer. And then in the end of summer, I actually went through a really bad breakup at the time. I wasn't even really sure if I wanted to put this in, but I just kind of want to be transparent. At the time, I was like not doing so great. I was in a really like toxic relationship, and I was dating this guy who told me that he was contemplating suicide. And when he was unresponsive to my calls and text messages, I went over to his house, which we'd been dating for 2 years already. So I went over to his house, and it was normal. His door was unlocked. I went upstairs, and I found him in bed with someone else. This is real life shit you usually only see on TV. But yeah, I found him in bed with someone else, and my young, impulsive self, I actually just kind of lost it. I blacked out from anger, and I kind of beat the girl up who he was in bed with. You know, thinking back and like, you know, being the adult that I am now, I'm like, you know, it's obviously not right. She did not deserve that. She was probably getting lied to too. So don't do that. Just my thoughts. So after that, they called the cops, and I ended up getting arrested. I got arrested, and luckily I have an awesome mom. Mom, if you ever watch this, I appreciate you more than you know. My mother was there that day to bail me out. Just right away. I wasn't in there for a whole 2 hours. They booked me in. They said they don't even need to change clothes. Her mom's here to bail her out. I got out. I went through a really bad depression spell where I was just not going to the gym. I was eating, but what I was eating was bad, and I was drinking all the time. I was just drinking and partying and working, and that's it. Drink, party, sleep, repeat. And I ended up actually getting kicked out of the university. But before I got kicked out of the university, I was, in the university, right, you like get those emails, those mass emails that go to everybody, and it's like, oh, join the chess club. Well, at the University of Iowa, they have this really amazing powerlifting program, and I got one of those mass emails that said, join the University of Iowa powerlifting team. Coincidentally, it happened to happen right before I got kicked out of the university. So I ended up just going to check out the gym that I know they all work out at, which is not the university gym. It's owned independently, called Magni Barbell. It's an amazing place. I went to go check it out, and I was just like, bench, squat, deadlift. I was like, I don't really bench. I don't do that a lot, but I probably could, I guess. And I would go into this gym, and they fixed my quarter squats, because I 100% was a quarter squatter before. I was part of the quarter squat gang before I went to this gym, and I thought I was cool. I had like 275 on my back, and I will remember to this day my friend Dalton looking at me sitting at depth going, no. And they made me strip off the weight, and I got down to squatting like, 200 maybe, squatting at like maybe depth. It took me so long, so long to figure out what depth was. So I ended up started training at this gym. Everybody just kind of took me in, or like automatically, like family. It was amazing. That place is amazing, and they will forever be known as my start to powerlifting. My friend Dalton, I hope you see this. You are the reason that I even like benching a little bit, even though I lie all the time and I say that I hate benching. You helped me so much. He took me under his wing, his little like benching wing, and he taught me what leg drive was and how to bench, and he just really like helped me really get started. He fixed my depth, he helped me with deadlifts, he helped me so much, just so much. At the time, I ended up flying out to Hawaii to visit my friend, and on my plane ride back, I met this guy in the airplane on the way back, and he talked to me, and I told him I wanted to start powerlifting, and he said that he coached and that he would help me out. And so I get home, and he writes me a program, which I didn't follow at all. I promise I've learned a lot, but I never followed the program. I was just YOLO lifting all the time. He sent me my first belt, and I'll never forget, he told me, he said, I just know it, you're gonna be a champion. And it stuck with me to this day. It stuck with me, and I don't know, I just can't let him down. So I was coming back from Hawaii, and I ended up like getting on the strength program, and I'm getting ready to do a meet. Actually, I was getting ready to do a meet. It was oh my goodness. It was 3 years ago, April. And at the time, I was going through my trial from the situation, getting in the fight with that girl, and I was going through my trial, and I ended up getting sentenced to go to jail, county jail, for 10 days. And those 10 days happened to be right when that powerlifting meet was. So I ended up not getting to go to my first powerlifting meet. So I get out, and I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to be depressed anymore. I decided that I was going to just throw myself into powerlifting. Still wasn't following my program, because, I'm an idiot. But I'm like at the gym and making gains. At the time, I'm like getting around squatting like 245, 250. I was so stoked. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to squat 2 plates and a quarter. was not ready to squat 2 plates and a quarter. Could not make depth. At this time, I decided that I'm going to move to Hawaii, and I Google at the time powerlifting Hawaii, because I knew as soon as I got here I had to have a gym. By this time, powerlifting's my life. I'm at the gym every day, still partying all the time because I don't know what's good for me, and just gym, work, partying every day, whatever I could get into. Didn't know what a diet was, and it's the summer. I'm like just squatting 275 for the first time, not to death. It was terrible. I'm like squatting, I'm trying to make depth like with my chest, not with my butt. I had no idea what anything was, but I was getting out there. I was determined. So I signed up for this meet. It's in August, and I go through the summer, and I have this meet on August 2nd, and I moved to Hawaii August 3rd. Why I thought that was a good idea, who knows? So my training all summer, and I get to my mom's house because I have to have all my stuff packed up, right, in order to move to Hawaii the next day, and I go to do this meet. No, sorry, I get ready for this meet, and I was like 168, and I wanted to get down to 165. I decided that a week before the meet, I was just gonna stop eating, right? That makes sense to like make weight. I was like, oh, I'll cut carbs. But instead of just cutting carbs, I cut all of my food. I wasn't eating a lot, and I was taking a lot of fat burners, and I was just like, yeah, this is a great idea. So we go to the meet. I weigh in at 158. It's insane. I weighed in at 158. My friend, same friend Dalton who taught me how, who's like helping me with powerlifting, he's gonna handle me the next day. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, well, I made weight. Like, I was super under. Isn't that great? And he's like, no, that's not great. What have you been eating? Have you been eating? And I'm like, no, not really. And he's just like, eat everything. And so I did. I was eating everything, and I go to the meet the next day. I end up squatting 242. And I'm super disappointed about that at the time. And I was like, you know what, whatever, I'm here for bench. I was super excited about bench. Bench had just like become my favorite lift in the last like 3 weeks. So I go to bench, and I hit 127 for my opener. I get it, I get the weight up, and then I skip the rack command. And, you know, 3 red lights for skipping the rack command. And I'm like, get all cocky, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to only bench 135. I want to bench 145 or 148, you know, whatever the kilos were. I didn't know at the time. And I'm like, super cocky. I'm like, up the weight, even though I didn't get it. You know, everybody knows. Well, everybody should know. If you miss a lift, take the same number. If it's an opener, like, you need to get that lift. But I was getting cocky, so I went straight to 137, and I missed it twice. Bombed out of my very first meet. I gotta tell you, I cried so much. I was just like, I can't move to Hawaii like this. What's gonna happen? I'm gonna get there, and it was insane to me. So I go back home, and I get on the plane, and I move to Hawaii the next day. See, I moved to Hawaii August 3rd, 2015. August 4th, 2015, was my very first day at Mono Barbell. My coach had finally texted me. Well, Darren, he wasn't my coach at the time. He texted me after. Oh, by the way, Darren texted me after I had already talked to the gym 2 months ago. And I'm like, oh, well, good thing I texted them 2 months in advance or I'd be screwed, right? Love you, Darren. Love you, coach. But I finally get there, and I get into the gym, and he sees my squat, and he's just like this. Yeah, that was it was a pretty common look when people looked at my squat 2 years ago. It was bad. It was bad. So I get in there, and he asked me, like, use knee sleeves for the first time. I never used knee sleeves before. He had me box squatting, and I think I squatted my first day, and there was like 225. And I was so bummed because I was like, I just squatted 275 2 months ago, a month ago, whatever. It's like, 275 was not to death. But I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm all like ego lifting, and I'm like, oh, I could bench 135, and I missed 135. I can't tell you how many times I missed 135 in the gym with Darren. I think he thought I was never gonna bench 135. And so he tells me about a meet that's going on 2 months later. He's like, okay, we're gonna do your first meet and whatever. I end up like going off program so much. You know, I think I almost got dropped by Darren by how much I went off program. And I don't know when it just kind of clicked, like making gains in the on the platform are so much more important than like gym lifts. Like YOLO lifting the gym doesn't mean anything. It's all like what you put on the platform. My very first meet with Darren, I think I freaked out on him a little bit. I asked him why I was opening so low on bench, and I was freaking out. I was like, I'm not gonna total a lot, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, I'm getting mad. I'm like, why are you doing this to me? And he's just like, no. He almost kicked me out. He told me not. He told me to go away. He was like, I can't even. He made me leave the gym. He made me leave and go take a walk because he said that if I didn't go take a walk, I was gonna have to like take a hike. I said he was not gonna coach me anymore. I almost got kicked out of Mana. Oh, not Mana. I almost got kicked off of the Mana pubs. I'm telling you, he loves me now. Now he calls me his favorite head case, but like I was not his favorite head case back then. Oh, I think I got on his nerves more than he will admit. He admits a lot. Oh man, I remember, so that first meet with Darren, I squatted 264, I benched 132, and deadlifted 319. So I totaled, what, 756? Somewhere around there. And it's just been amazing since day one. I cannot tell you, Darren and this gym and my gym family, Mana Pups, changed my life. If you ever get a chance to have a team while you're powerlifting, think that's just, there's nothing better. There's nothing better than having these people around you with these common goals. Darren says it to me all the time. He says, you get better when your team gets better. And I never really got that until really recently. I've had the chance and the opportunity to work with so many new people, and truly, you get better once your team gets better. The energy that you put out, you're going to receive back times 10. And I think if I could just, one tip, put your time into helping others. If you can help others, do it. I don't think there's been a better experience than helping someone helping someone fix one thing and that leads to a PR. It's like, like the Grinch, my heart swells 3 sizes too big. And it's so sweet. I think I got a little off topic, but I feel like you could talk about the physical PRs all you want, you know, like sure, I've gained over 100 pounds on my squat, I've gained 100 pounds on my deadlift, I've gained over 50 pounds on my bench, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like none of that really matters if you haven't made like mental PRs, you know? I went from my coach wanting to kick me off his team to being what he calls his favorite headache. I don't know if that's actually a mental PR, but I feel like it is. You know, I took this move out of nowhere and I just decided I was going to move to Hawaii. For me, that's one of the biggest mental PRs I've hit. I've uprooted myself from a life that was no longer making me happy, and I just changed it. And I feel like if there's one piece of advice that's not powerlifting related that I can give you guys, is do what makes you happy. Don't sit in this life that makes you upset. Don't do things that don't make you happy. Just do whatever you can to make yourself a better person. Whatever you think is going to help you, do it. Because life shouldn't be spent trying to make everyone else happy if you're not helping yourself. You can't take from an empty glass and give to someone else. Always pick yourself first. That's my story. That's how I got into powerlifting. I got really depressed. I went to a gym. I asked for help and I received it. And I think that's the best thing you can do. Ask and you shall receive. if you ask me, I am more than willing to help. I will help any way I can. I will direct you to anybody that I can that can help coach you, because personally, I just don't think I'm experienced enough to be coaching yet. I've only been lifting for like 2 years, so that's put that out there for everybody who's asked. No, I don't do that yet. Not because you guys aren't awesome and I don't want to help you, but because I just don't think that I'm qualified enough to do that yet. Okay, so my first meet, I bombed out. My first real meet though with Darren, so I squatted 264, benched 132, deadlifted 319. My most recent meet, I competed in Canada. I competed in Canada in Kingston, Ontario with the CPL. It's amazing, amazing things. Brady, if you watch this, you're awesome. It's an amazing place, amazing people. I squatted 342, I benched 148, and I deadlifted 463. So I just cannot tell you how much good coaching can help you. If you can find a good coach and you can find someone that you really vibe with, great team, go for it. Go and be around people who are like-minded. Go and be with people who want to see you succeed and you want the same for them. I think that having a coach and being part of a team has not only shaped me as a lifter, but has completely changed who I am as a person. And I 100% think I've been changed for the better. So, I guess that's it. That's my story. If you have any questions, you can comment, you can DM me on Instagram, put my little Instagram handle on here somewhere, if that isn't how you got my video. Just thank you all for watching, listening to my story. It's kind of a lot for me to put, like, my personal life out there, so thanks for listening to it, and hopefully not judging. I love this sport so much, and I want to give back as much as I can. And if there's anything else you'd like to hear from me, let me know. Thank you.